In today's video, I share my own rookie mistakes picking up Colombian women and how I nearly avoided death. Coming up. Hey, welcome to the video. Welcome to Medellin. My name is Christopher Buell, and you may not know of me from such books as Golden Nuggets of Hobo Wisdom and Golden Nuggets of International Dating. So I had some pretty lofty goals today, and the goals were that I would do a video from not in my apartment, because the truth of the matter is, it's lame. It's lame to see me in front of a desk. Like, do we even know you're in Colombia? So I packed up all my crap and I thought, I'm going to do a man on the street type situation. Just go to a park, set up my stuff, and film. But apparently that required more courage than I was blessed with. And, you know, we've got this thing where you're only allowed to go out on certain days. I believe they call it Pico de Gallo. And so, like, if your passport number ends in 2, you're only allowed to go out on Mondays and Sundays, or Mondays and Wednesdays, or I don't know what it is. But, yeah, so I really wanted to do this kind of man on the street type thing. However, I didn't want to get arrested. And I don't know, would I have actually been? You hear all these stories, like, you know, Americans that get fined and then they lose their visas, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. I don't have that kind of courage. So as I was saying, it wasn't my Pico de Gallo day. I'm not allowed out. You know, I just feel like a really arrogant American setting up his tripod and his camera. There's probably going to be a million edits to this video because I'm outside and I pick up every motorcycle, every train, every person walking by. But I've been planning on trying out some new audio software where maybe I can reduce some background noise. At any rate, I'm going to tell you a story about me picking up a girl back in October. And at that time, I had been staying with my friends in Gorney. And my mom was there. And this first week we were in Gorney. And then after that week, my mom went back home to the United States. And I left my friend's house. I got a place of my own in Medellin. And I got right into it because when I was in Gorney, I was matching with all these girls, and this one girl that I had matched with, she had quite a few tattoos and had sent me a picture of her stomach. And I believe it had like I don't know, that third eye and a flower, and I don't know what was going on. And when you're a nerdy white boy, it sure seemed pretty gangsterific to me. And I asked her what the tattoo meant, or what it was, and she said it was a lotus flower. I didn't do any research, but I just assumed it had evil intentions. But she was kind of cute, so I didn't let it stop me. So I'm in Medellin, and she's essentially my first date. And she asked me to meet her at the mall in Bejo. Well, I would come to find out that Bejo is not a place nerdy white boys want to go on their first day in Medellin. But again, I didn't know and I didn't care. And so I went to wait for her at the mall, and I waited for what seemed like an eternity. And eventually she would show up. She was a younger girl, like 26 or something. Very cute. Nothing gangsterific about her at that moment. And we get outside. And she then, I guess the connection is made that I don't speak Spanish. And so I'm apologizing. And her word to me, so she texts me, tranquila. And when you put it in the translator, that means quiet. And you're kind of taken aback, because you hear that a lot out here, like, quiet. I don't normally let people talk to me that way. And sometimes it's translated as calm down. And really, it's meant more like, no worries, it's okay. But that's not the way it reads when you use the translator. And so this was one of those girls that needed babysitter money. And, you know, it's like you put yourself in the most, I put myself in the most vulnerable position. So we leave the mall, we get in a taxi, and she's telling us where we're going to go. And we're off to find a bar. And we're going deeper and deeper into the barrio. And my spider senses are going bonkers. Like, I am not comfortable. I am taken out of my comfort zone. I hate this. I hate every last moment of it. And I'm dependent on this girl whom is probably in a gang. At least I think so. And, you know, it's one of those things, like her appearance, very cute, very sweet. But I know the tattoos that exist underneath her clothes. And there's a lot of them, and they're scary. And we end up going to this bar. And she starts saying, she finds out that I have my own place. Like, at some point, she didn't quite understand that I left my friend's house in Guarne and I had my own place. And up until that moment, there was no interest in me. I mean, it was a painful date, as I've had many of them. But once she found out that I had my own place, her eyes lit up, and she was like, awesome, let's go back to your house. Okay. And she said, we're going to pick up my 19-year-old sister and take her with, take her with to your house. There again, if you saw yesterday's video, I don't know much, but I know I've never picked up 2 girls in the past. Something ain't right. At the same time, it's not terribly easy to be like, no, I don't want 2 girls. And I text her and I say, I'm not really... I start asking her, well, why does your sister need to be there? And she's like, well, she's home alone and she doesn't have any food, or... It was a lame excuse. And I said, I've never really had a date where the sister came home. And she was like, if you don't feel comfortable, don't worry about it. We won't do it. And I thought, oh, good. About 2 minutes later, she says, we're going by my house. We're going to pick up my sister. And we're going to go to your apartment and have some drinks and have a good time. It seemed like sound logic. And it seemed like I didn't really have a choice. So I said, okay. So we get in a taxi and we start going to her house to pick up her sister. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I mean, there's the idea that 2 girls, this one's cute, going to pick up a 19-year-old sister. I want to get to the end of the story. I want to see how this thing turns out. I'm just as curious as you guys are. But to get to the house, we go even deeper into this barrio. And again, my spider senses are screaming. This is bad situation. This is not good. You got to get out of this. In order to bring her home, I needed like 100,000 pesos or whatever for the taxi. And praise God, I didn't have it. I didn't have enough money. I didn't want to take her home. I mean, yeah, I want to be cool, and I would love to have the two-girl experience, but I'm not an idiot. I'm being set up to be robbed, or no good can come of this. And I tell her I don't have the money. Let's pick it up tomorrow. And I don't remember exactly the sequence of events, but that 19-year-old sister we would see, she was about 300 pounds. I mean, this was went from bad to super bad. Well, I sold them on, hey, we'll do it another night. I just, I don't have the money. I don't know what I said to get out of it, but I got out of it. And, I said, we were right in front of her house. I said, I'll just order an Uber. I'll give you all the money I got. I'll pay the Uber guy when I get home. And I said, you just go inside. And she said, I'm not leaving you alone in this neighborhood. And, it was like 10 minutes before the Uber finally came. And there again, the whole time I'm thinking, I sure am stupid. How did I do this to myself? How did I do this to myself? Like I said, it was a excruciating 10 minutes that I was waiting there. But it really said something about her that she was going to wait with me. But at the same time, I'm thinking, she's on the phone, she's texting, and I just, I'm sure she's texting her boyfriend or her gang or whatever to come, knife this little geeky white boy up. But the Uber guy came and picked me up, and it was very funny because he was a chunky guy, and he got a look at that chunky sister and started talking in perfect English about how hot she was. And I'm like, you speak English? Any rate, made it home, still alive. I'll do another episode on gringo mistakes while picking up chicks on another episode. Until next time, that is Golden Nuggets Media.